I think Costa brings the melody. I think there's a lot more melody in the guitar solos in this record compared to the first record.
Me and Jim, we're big fans of progressive as well, so we wanted to put that into the new album, and to see what's gonna work for us and how the fans are gonna react, so we can complete our ideas of what we want to do. And that was the first album with this lineup, and we know each other way more now, and I think we have a clear idea how we're gonna continue for the future of the songs that we write.
Never grow up. It's bad. It's bad for you. What's up, everybody? It's Keefe at GhostCultMag.com. I am joined by the guys for the first time ever from Misfire. How are y'all doing?
Doing good, man. Thanks for having us.
Chicago
Doing well,
in the
man.
house. We don't have the names up on Zoom here because we're super professional and have the names hidden. But if you want to just introduce yourselves before we begin, I appreciate it. Just so I keep it straight. Who's who?
Yeah, I'm James. I play drums for the band Misfire.
I am Tim Jensen. I am the vocalist of Misfire.
I'm Kostadin, guitar player, Misfire.
Welcome. Great to meet you guys. So much going on. New album, big tour, music videos, lots of stuff going on with the band, a lot of activity. I'm super stoked the publicist put us together. We're close friends, and but I'm thankful to get to introduce their bands to the world. Shout out to Liz at Earsplit. And, I'm always thankful to do what I do. I was a band guy for many years, so I know all the trials and travails of how hard it is to do a band in this day and age. Without getting too political, the world is on fire, and it's just a tough time to kind of support your dreams. So let me just say, hopefully, this interview helps, this press helps, all these things help you guys. That's the main thing for me, is I want to help bands get to where I did not get to.
Well, thank you so much for that.
That's fucking awesome of you, man.
Yeah, thanks. I try. I've been doing this a long time, and at this point, my whole self-interest is like, how do we keep this genre alive and going and promoting? And it's constant work. It's just like being in a band, actually having a music website without like corporate backing. It's just like having a band. Hey, check out my stuff. Hey, check out my stuff. Hey, check out my stuff. But
so much competition, yeah.
So hard. But we've been around 13 years almost, so we're doing the thing. We're on all the things. But Product of the Environment is coming out in early May on MNRK Heavy, the great MNRK Heavy, famous label for Crowbar and Black Label Society, and so many killer, Our Dudes in Creeping Death, and even Ace Frehley. So many good bands on that label. Just give us the origin story of the band. Obviously from Chicago. How did you guys meet and form? I have my opinions about what the music sounds like, but if you want to share sort of the group influences, that's cool.
Sure. I'll start with the history of the band. We started this band at a Giordano's in 2018, Chicago style, like legit. I actually didn't think about that, how funny that is, until just now. But me and the original guitar player sat down at a Giordano's and started this thing. Just said we wanted to play thrash. They wanted to see me play drums again. I had taken a brief period of time off from my last band and wanted to get back into it. So we went for a few years, went through some lineup changes. And in 2022, Costa and Tim joined. We did a tour, and we wrote a whole bunch of music that is now this new record. Influences range from, I think the thing that we have in common is, me and Costa have in common, like writing wise, guitar wise, is like Metallica, like the German thrash stuff, like The Creator and like Sodom, and as well as what was the band? Death. Yeah, Death. Like we're both big fans of the last two records of Death. So that progressive influence mixed with the thrash influence mixed with a little bit of death metal is kind of where we come from.
Right on. I definitely picked up on the I know it's very German bands hate when you make it about being a German band, but I definitely picked up. I actually even got like a lot of Destruction influence there. Sodom is amazing. We interviewed Tom not too long ago for the reissue of Tapping the Vein.
Yeah, Destruction was huge for me growing up. My previous band covered what's that one? Is Mad Butcher, I think. Yeah, right.
Nice.
Yeah. So, yeah.
When the drummer does the riff. Good times, yeah. And I even felt like there's like a subtle influence, the artwork and stuff like that. I feel like is not a surprise. I think it won't be a surprise. We all love the thrash stuff, especially the German bands, and no issue there. And then so, like I said, how did you guys get on the radar of MNRK? They are very selective about bands they choose to work with. They don't have the hugest roster compared to, let's say, Metal Blade or Nuclear Blast or Napalm, but they definitely care about their artists. This much I know from working with them for many years.
Well, our manager is known Steve Seabury, who's at the label for a long time, and Frank had been wanting to dive into in like a thrash band that hasn't like been established yet. So they kind of wanted something to work on and in this ballpark. So luckily for us, we had our songs together, and we had an idea of what we wanted to do, and it worked out. They gave us a really good deal. The stars kind of just aligned for us in that moment, and now we're doing the thing.
Right on. And so how long has let me kick it to the other guys. How long has the band been working on this material that's coming out now? I think a lot of fans, especially in the post Plague era, don't really understand. Like, first of all, that was a setback for everybody. Some bands put out music during that time. It was cool. Introverted people did really well during that period of time. But a lot of bands, it's like, oh, how do I navigate in this future world? And I'd be putting out an important record for yourselves on a label, on a pretty big label. So let's hear from the other guys. Like, how long has this music been in the works? And, let's say, when was it finished, so people can understand the arc of when it's coming out?
Some of these songs on the new record, to my understanding, have been around since the beginning of the band. For the most part, though, everything was written from, I'd say, late 2022 up until we went into the studio in November of 2024. So it's about a good 2 years for about 75% of the record, and the other 25%, I'd say there was a couple songs here and there and riff ideas that have been around since the beginning of the band.
Yeah, there were even some on previous EP. There was Born to Die in Privacy were on a previous EP, and it got rehashed and revamped with Costa and I and a couple arrangement ideas.
Right on. And for you, it's so hard to Costa. It's so hard to stand out in the thrash world, because kind of like the masters have done it already. So like, what do you do to keep your riffs fresh and your ideas, sort of modern? I love that you guys have the death influence also, so that always helps when you have kind of like a deathy thrash. But like, what do you do to, what do you bring to the table when you're riffing?
Well, for this album, there's not a lot of death metal elements. There are just a little bit, but I will say in that album there's a little bit for everyone, because we have basic songs like Living the Dream. It's like AC/DC tempo. We have some progressive elements in all over the place, and we have super fast thrash songs like Twist of Fate. We have Day to Day as well. We have a lot of groove stuff in them, like Born to Die.
I think Costa brings the melody. I think there's a lot more melody in the guitar solos in this record compared to the first record.
Me and Jim, we're big fans of progressive as well, so we wanted to put that into the new album, and to see what's gonna work for us and how the fans are gonna react, so we can complete our ideas of what we want to do. And that was the first album with this lineup, and we know each other way more now, and I think we have a clear idea how we're gonna continue for the future of the songs that we write.
Yeah, man. So many bangers. Twist of Fate is probably my favorite track on the record. But so many bangers. For such a young band, you guys got some very impressive guests to come in and be on the record, including Rob Dukes before he was rejoined in Exodus. Like, I know that happened very fast this spring, and people are still kind of in shock about it. I'm in a couple of thrash metal fan groups, and people are still mad. But Rob's a beast, and I'm super stoked he's back. How did you guys get to work with Rob Dukes and Rob Cavestany, who's also both former interviewees of Ghost Cult here?
So with Rob Dukes,
Costa.
So 2012, I saw first time Exodus, and that was my first ever thrash metal concert in my life, and that concert changed my life. So we arrived there early. It was in Macedonia, where I came from. And that was a big deal because nobody plays over there, And I got a chance to take a picture with him because we were helping them loading in, and because we arrived early. So I was the happiest kid at that time. I took a picture with vocalist of Exodus, Rob Dukes, and Jack, the bass player. So few years forward, I moved here, joined Misfire, and 2 years ago we played Milwaukee Metal Fest, and I was hanging out in the backstage area where all the musicians hang, and I accidentally ran into Rob Dukes, and I went to say hi, and I shared my story, and he remembered that show and that country, and we talked for more than 2 hours. Yeah, and we became friends since then. We exchanged social media. We will from time to time, texting each other, and when the time came when we did the album, and we were asking ourselves, do we want to have any vocal guests or stuff? So I knew who to ask first, and yeah, it was a quick reply, yes, and he said that he's honored to do it, and it's like a dream come true to me.
Wow, that's amazing. It doesn't surprise me at all about Dukes. He's always been a great guy and very engaging to fans. And Jackie's also excellent. I hung out with Jack too and have interviewed him. He's pretty great. He's got a great sort of countryside project people don't really know about, but it's fun, like outlaw country, like Johnny Cash or Waylon Jennings. Really fun. Yeah, and then Cavestany, man. Well, I mean, Death Angel is amazing. Rob is a longtime supporter of ours, and we're longtime fans. So that's a dude. If you could get him to jam with you or write with you or drop a solo or something, he's so sick.
Yeah, absolutely. That was something that came up through our management. Our management has Testament, Exodus, Death Angel, Prong, Saliva, yeah, on and on. And we didn't need it, but we wanted someone to play on this solo section that we had, because originally it was just one solo. It was cool, but we wanted it to be like an epic, section, because we didn't really have that on the record. So who better than one of our main influences, Death Angel, right? So it was a perfect fit, and something that we didn't expect, and something that will remain to be an honor forever for us.
Right on. Yeah, he's so good. He's so good.
Sick.
He's such a good dude. I bump into the Death Angel guys. I live in San Francisco, and I bump into those guys all the time at metal shows and just in general. Oh, hey, crossing the street, shopping. Like, I don't want to bother anybody with their families or their wives or girls, but like at a show, it's like, hey, what's up? Good to see you. How you doing? When when's the next one? When you coming back? So, all that kind of jazz. So really cool. And yeah, I'm so glad you guys got to do that. That's such a great thing. And let's talk for a second about that Milwaukee Metal Fest, because that first comeback fest, I think, is going to be remembered for a long time. We covered it, and we covered the last two, and I think it's going to be. I want to just give a quick shout out to Jamie Josta for bringing that festival back, because that's a thing from before you guys were all born. That was a huge deal, especially in the underground scene. And to have it now with major bands headlining it, and it was always major bands to us headlining it, but like the popularity of it and the way it came back, so well done and so well run. I'm really grateful on my side as a journalist to be able to say that we've covered it. And that first one especially they went out of their way to make it killer. I'm really proud that you guys got to do that.
Yeah, hopefully we get to do it again, because it was a blast. And you're right. It was really well put together, and the vibe was killer.
I definitely want to make the next one. I don't know about this year, so maybe the 2026. It seems like it's going well, and it's not gonna stop, which is great. So you guys got this huge tour coming up. I know there's been some. I'm not going to ask you to address the controversies of the rotating second headliner, but opening again for Exodus. You get to hang out with Rob every night.
Yeah.
And see them do it. I'm so thrilled that he's back, and they're going to, probably pump up some of this more heavier Dukes era material, and hopefully that will also inspire. The next record is also the anniversary of Bonded by Blood, so you're going to hear the classics. All the old school jams. And then Havok is now on the tour, and those are great guys. We've interviewed David before, and they always bring it hard. So what a great opportunity. The Swarm of Horror is officially the name, by the way. And I even love the poster. It actually kind of also fits with your vibe. It's so punky, and 80s and 90s crossover metal. Looks like a DRI poster to me.
Yeah, Thrash green. Yeah,
yes, puke green always. Like that's our color also, like one of our big colors. So tell us, what are you most excited about, obviously, beside playing with Exodus and Havok every day?
Well, apparently Rob's going to be coming out here and there to play the song that he's featured on with us, which is like insane. Like, so there's that. Yeah, just playing these songs live, and after being in the studio with them and getting them super tight, like the way that they're supposed to sound is how they sound now. And it's going to be freaking killer to play them in front of a crowd that Exodus and Havok are going to bring. I mean, that's huge for a band like us. And yeah, we just can't wait for every night.
Yeah, man, we're definitely very excited to also hit some new territories that we haven't been to yet, and also return to a couple that we've been to, and it's just going to be an exciting time all around, man. Fuck yeah.
Right on. What's the city you haven't been to that you want to go to the most?
There's a couple, but I'm really looking forward to going to Birmingham, Alabama. I've never been to Alabama, and I'm just really curious to see what the metal scene's like down there.
Same.
They love the hardcore there, so I know they have quite a bit of metal shows. It's we'll say no disrespect to Birmingham. I know it's a college town, and but I know they do the big hardcore fest there every fall, or they have been for the last few years. So they definitely can turn out the crowd. So I have a feeling for Exodus, they're gonna show up, and hopefully they show up early and represent for you guys. I always like to end these interviews with a wild card question. You kind of help me out. Maybe we can get Giordano's to give you guys an endorsement or something, or maybe a music video at a Giordano's. I had a bad experience with Giordano's, but I'm not going to hold it against Chicago pizza. I'm originally a New York guy, so there's no changing our pizza preferences to the rest of the country. But I have not a huge fan of the Chicago pizza. But if there's another food from Chicago, what is the food people? I have my opinion, but what is the food people need to get beside pizza?
The Italian beef sandwich is is what I'm gonna say right there, with some fucking giardiniera on it, man.
My man, that's right. That's the right answer.
I'll say two. You got to get a Polish. Chicago style Polish. And there's one burger place called Au Cheval in the city that has the best burger I've ever had in my entire life. Like, hands down, the best burger, period. So yeah, Au Cheval.
Since you're from another place, Kostadin, what's your opinion of Chicago food? Do you enjoy the Chicago food, or is it still?
Yeah, I love the food in Chicago. It's great. It's different than where I came from, but there's also a lot of restaurants and similar food, so I'm not missing anything. But still, I change my diet and stuff. So mostly I eat Mexican food, but no, I love here and there some great deep dish or some Chicago burger.
Yeah, nice. Can't
it's
go
great.
wrong with Mexican.
Yeah,
that's great. I'm gonna say personally, yeah, Mr. Beef was a life-changing experience for me. I'm not gonna lie, I did go because of the Bear TV show. Sorry, but I love Chicago. By the way, I've had nothing but great times there, especially for music, for metal and punk rock and stuff. And I gotta go Wrigleyville over Portillo's. I know that's a controversial take, but that's my take. I can't do Portillo's. I did it once. I was like, nope.
I haven't done a lot of Portillo's, to be honest with you, either. It's cool, but like they have everything, but like I don't know. There's better stuff.
Portillo's is number one, but everyone has their opinions.
Come on.
Portillo's is number one.
The fighting begins.
Yeah. Look where you started.
Yeah, well, no, I will say that Portillo's is everywhere now, right? Because they have them in LA and they have them in Vegas, and so they're popping up as a chain now. Man. I don't know if it's wise, but we shall see. Man. Ugh. No way. What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? Hey guys, super cool to meet you. I'm really excited for this new record, and I just want to wish you the best on the road. Be safe. Lock up your van. Keep somebody with your stuff. Get some air tags and put them in all your gear, and protect yourselves because it's tough out there. But not to scare you. I sincerely am rooting for you guys, and I love this new record, and I can't wait for everybody else to hear it.
Thank you so much, man.
Thank you.
Yeah,
hopefully we're out your way sooner. Like, but we're looking at October, November, probably, actually. So.
Oh, we got people everywhere, so I may just send somebody out to one of these other places. And again, we'll be doing Metal Fest, I think, again too. So we'll catch you soon. Thanks for hanging out with Ghost Cult. I really appreciate you guys, and be well.